The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office has a designated department of police officers who listen to rap music, to the local scenes. They keep their ears to the streets as much as they can. And then whenever rappers are mentioning names and sneak dissing and whatnot, they keep track of it.
I feel like if you've never had a lot of people take it for granted if they have the ability to travel, if they have the ability to go get other experiences, because it opens up your mind.
Do you know who the real winner is in this entire situation?
Who?
The Fulton County DA, Fannie Willis. She's the real winner.
Welcome to the Porch Light Theory, everyone. Come and pull up a chair. You're here with the smoothest and coolest brothers. My name is Nick. Tristan, how you doing today?
The smoothest and the coolest. That is quite accurate, my brother. I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well.
I'm glad to hear, it's Breezy Bowl out here and YB is out here, so the city is on fire. This is about to be an interesting Labor Day weekend.
Breezy Bowl. Chris Brown's in Dallas right now?
Arlington.
Oh, okay.
And then the NBA YoungBoy is performing for 2 days out here.
I have some thoughts about YoungBoy that, I hope we can dive into later on in this episode. I do have some problems with YoungBoy. And what do the young people look up to?
NBA YoungBoy. Ooh, give me gas talking about that little boy. Who did the young people pick?
One thing I do want to talk about.
What's that?
Catch me and the listeners up to speed about this whole spiel with Young Thug.
Okay, for those that don't know, Young Thug recently has been in the media for a plethora of reasons, of course, because, he had that case that stems all the way back from like 2022 when he first got arrested on those RICO charges. And now, since he's been out, he has made it a point to really, where you would think some people would make that swap, like try to avoid street culture and all that by every means. He's more so going into it trying to solidify, like, hey, I'm one of the real ones. I didn't rat. I didn't do none of that. But usually, especially when we talk about conservatives and things of that nature, a lot of times the things that they're the most passionate about, it's a lot of projection. So I believe he's been projecting a lot. And it's led to where he's at now, where we have a lot of people misconstruing the fact that these are quote unquote leaked phone calls that he has and leaked testimonies, when it's not leaked. It's a FOIA. Yeah, but also I think a FOIA was granted for this case and things of that nature. And for those that don't know, FOIA just simply means Freedom of Information. It's the Freedom of Information Act. Yep. And for the Young Thug case, I do believe that they had one released for this. But yeah, because of that, all this has been made public. There's a lot of people sitting there out there like, whoa, is this being leaked? Who's leaking it? Like, it's like, y'all just got to read up on stuff.
So obviously the feds. It's the deep state.
The police said, oh, we couldn't get you, so now we got to ruin your street cred. It's like, come on now, let's. You
gonna let APD do that to you, Jeffrey?
You gonna let Cobb County Police get you?
Come on. Thought you was a street Nick.
But with all that being said, so much has been released as far as things of that nature that it has people really questioning, are we getting too old for this street stuff at this point?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, bro, at some point, give it up, man. Like, you are beefing with someone in Ghana that when he was released back in, what was it? Because he went for his, he claimed his innocence in early 2022, and then he was released from jail in December of 2022 after he reached an Alford plea, which, granted, most people forget, Young Thug's blood brother this guy took the same Alford plea as well, but we don't call him a snitch. We don't call him a rat.
Y'all got to be careful with them RICO charges, man.
Man, these RICOs are serious.
These RICOs, hey, these law enforcement officials and legal experts, they not playing. They quick to slap a RICO on you. They real fast. You got to be careful. Um,
You really do.
I think it's very interesting how it's a bit of a projection. Because I even listened to one phone call, between 21 Savage and Young Thug, and you can tell 21 Savage just really wasn't the tone or in his language while having the conversation with Thug.
Hmm.
It looked like he wasn't all the way in it, and it was like, the reason
He's the more
why,
mature one.
yeah, the reason why, Baby and Dirk, they said they 2 cents about Gunna is because, it's like the hot thing to do right now. you know. So, and just like leave Gunna alone, or like Thug was saying, I need to drop my album the same day he drops his album. Like, you doing way
Which,
too much.
which
And
granted, his LP Business is Business did debut at #2 on Billboard's 200 with 89,000 album units. So
mhm.
that's not bad. He had the hype at that time.
He was better off laying low and just sticking to the music and stay off social media.
That's the big thing right there.
Stay
He
off
hasn't learned
Twitter.
that.
Stay off Twitter. And it's not the first time we've seen social media get rappers caught up. Especially
Hmm.
if you're in the music industry. Um, let's just say it like this: police be watching. It,
Everything.
it doesn't matter if you are, you know, a Hollywood type of rapper. Like it doesn't matter if you're a Drake or a Young Thug, all the way down to your local level rappers. Police watch and they listen. They have, like, here in Jacksonville, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office has a designated department of police officers who listen to rap music, to the local
Hmm.
scenes. They keep their ears to the streets as much as they can. And then whenever rappers are mentioning names and sneak dissing and whatnot, they keep track of it. And you know who else is really good at keeping track of all these disses and the lore of these rap beefs and who's snitching and who's not? Redditors. They are
Hmm.
really good at that. Folks on Reddit, they oh my gosh, they keep track with who's in what gang,
Hmm.
who's in what organization, who did what. He said this in this song, who dissed who. There are people on YouTube that make videos out of this. It's almost as if it's pure entertainment,
It is
and
for though.
like a DJ Academics type of analyzation where they're just telling the lore of these stories happening in these communities and they're not even a part of it. Um, I I mean when you catch up and find out what's happening in your local community and what these rappers be talking about and what their beefs be over, it is wild. Take Jacksonville again, for example. This whole beef with Fulio and Young and Ace is
Hmm.
crazy. Fulio got off not so long ago. When word got out that Fulio got
Sadly.
killed, bro, that when I was in the newsroom, it blew up. It was like, who got killed? And we were just like, no way. Like, we were shocked. It was almost
Hmm.
as if, like, I'm surprised. For me, it was almost like, I'm surprised you've lived this long with the way you were moving, the things you were saying, and what you were doing. It was like he knew, Fulio knew he was a big target within the streets and within his own local police department. I mean, he was being watched.
Why was he moving that way?
Why was he like moving so reckless? Or I won't even
Yeah,
say
why do you think he
reckless.
was moving? Do you think that that's a point of emphasis for a lot of these young ones now, or even just part of the culture? Like, why do you feel like they feel the need to move in such a way to where it's just like with reckless abandon?
I feel like there's a lot of factors that play into these type of situations because this isn't a one size fits all issue. And I mean, you can apply this to whatever, uh, you know, whatever rappers that are doing X, Y, Z in your community and whatnot. You can say this is a situation of being in an environment where guns are super accessible. That street culture, it's tough, and I've seen firsthand like what it can do to you. And if you don't figure out ways to create prevention, then
Mm-hmm.
then your community is going to be in a position where they're always reacting rather than being proactive. Here in Jacksonville, these are 16, 15, 14 year olds with the switch. They not scared. And to some of them it's a game,
Yeah, it
or
is.
to some it's a game, or um you know or it's real life. They've lost loved ones, and they trying to get their lick back, because the justice system
Mm-hmm.
is slow. And they, if the justice system is not gonna catch them, then I sure will. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's a lot of factors, but like when it comes to Fulio, I've watched a bit of interviews, or I think it's safe to say he's a product of his environment. And he has the talent. Both had and both him and Ace, they have the talent. They're exceptional rappers, and they have interesting styles, and they're storytellers. But oh man, we bro, I'm telling you, when you listen to like your local rap scene, especially if they're involved in criminal activity, it's low key scary. It's low key scary. Just like following, what they're doing and whatnot. Just to reiterate though, I feel like there's a lot that just goes into what creates street culture.
Mm-hmm.
And here in Jacksonville, it's just it's an interesting story, because just like what Young Thug is, the type of scrutiny that Young Thug is dealing with, um there is no loyalty in street culture, none whatsoever. And I think you can look to even our past figures in hip hop.
I agree, because it depends. Well, just to clarify, we are both hood adjacent people. We would not consider ourselves in the streets like that, or
Not at all.
out there perpetrating and doing all that. So the understanding is that there are some that have no choice but to be a part of that life, but there are some that choose to be of it when they don't necessarily have to be.
Mm-mm.
And it's a weird mix right now within the culture where the ones that don't have to want to, excuse me, so badly, because there seems to be this allure, which granted I can understand why there's an allure to it, because within our own media, the things that we've consumed as we've gotten older and things of that nature, but in the past, it did romanticize the idea of being in the streets like that to a certain extent, especially once Hollywood got a hold of the black plight and what we go through in our neighborhoods and things of that nature. So I think that is, like you said, there's so many factors that go into it outside of that kind of just puts certain young people in a mindset, especially young black people in a mindset like, this is something I should aspire for.
I once heard a hip hop critic say that there was a point in time when hip hop was storytelling what was happening to them back then. And then all of a sudden it morphed into this uh scene where now not only are they telling their story, they're actually living it. And then it morphs again into, we are actively living it.
True. And to a certain extent, it kept morphing, because then they realized that, oh, well, what if I just rap about it, but don't actually do it? Like, there's people that are willing to co-sign me as long as I keep them as long as I keep these on my payroll. They gonna sign off on me. They gonna vet for me every single time. Like, yeah, he bowed it, because there are some stories about certain artists coming out where everyone's co-signing them and all that, and then turns out Man, that man from the Burbs. Don't take all that gangster stuff and all that too serious. He just showed up, started throwing some money around the hood, and because people, you throw 'em money, they'll do what you want. It don't mean nothing to a hood nigga to be like, hey, you throw me $500, yeah, I'll sit in the back of your music video and make it look like you hard.
What I've seen and experienced though, bro, is straight up real life. I mean, these are 3-letter organizations, ATK, Aces
Oh
Top
yeah, no,
Killers
I agree.
and stuff like that. I mean, here in Jacksonville, I would be weary of wearing a Grizzly Bibby jersey. Like the lore and what these young men and women do. I mean, did we not see how the rise and fall of King Von? I would say these industry officials, they look for the talent and they know what type of position these young men and women are in.
Oh yeah.
And then you're giving them hundreds of thousands of dollars, and some of them are still in, the area that they live in. Like, but it's not like that for everybody. For example, Young and Ace, he's living in Houston. He can't come back to Jacksonville whatsoever. So when Fulio got killed, everyone was looking at Young and Ace like, nigga, was that you? You know that one song, Who I Smoke, Baby, Who I Smoke, Lil Nine, Who I, with the 1,000 Miles instrumental?
Oh yeah, that one.
That was here, Jacksonville.
Yeah,
That viral song on TikTok, that was Jacksonville. And so when Young and Ace was like, listen off Who I Smoke, Baby, like these are real people. That shit is scary.
Oh no, it is. And
That shit is scary.
It's crazier that the fact that it really depends on what part of any type of region that you're from. Like on our side of Dallas, clique culture used to be bad. Like to a certain extent, it still is, but a lot of the people I knew that were a part of it, they grew up and got out of it to a certain extent. But that comes with maturity also. But that's why it's weirdly cyclical in the area that we're in, where there'll be some dudes that grow out of it. There's some that don't. There's some that don't have the chance to grow out of it. But then you see certain younger people starting to incorporate that into their lives. And it's just like they're just repeating what they see ahead of them, because a lot of the times it's associated with prosperity. You get the money, you get the girls, you get the drugs, you get to do everything you want. You can become a hood legend by being out in these streets. Like it's,
you know what that sounds like to me?
What?
That sounds like Cyberpunk 2077, where you're like, you can become a legend in these streets. You know what I'm saying? Isn't that the main character, V? He wanted to be a legend in Night City. So much so that if you go out a legend, then you have a drink named after you at the Afterlife. It's one of the lounges in the game. But
that's
thing,
why I feel like it's.
What's the point that you wanted to make?
Oh, I was gonna say, I just feel like that's why public education needs to do something about, at some point, force these kids to get out of 15 miles around their zip code. Because I feel like if you've never had a lot of people take it for granted if they have the ability to travel, if they have the ability to go get other experiences, because it opens up your mind. Yes, it's not a guarantee that if you expose people to different cultures, situations, locations, and all that it'll help change their mind or change their path, but it at least brings them in contact with something different to see, like, hey, there's more to life than just, everything in my zip code. Like, I'm trying to get up out of here. Like, there's more for me to do out here than what I see in front of me.
I can attest to that. I remember covering a story about how this one teenager, her literal twin, was shot and killed. And I just remember talking to the auntie, talking to the twin sister, and it's such an awkward position being the news reporter talking to the impacted family. I always hated being in those type of situations. For me personally, like I hated talking to victims of crime, and I hated going to vigils, because I felt like I had no place being there. But the family, the impacted family, they wanted me to be there. So I developed like this community relationship with these people because I'm telling their stories. But at the same time, I just feel like I feel like I shouldn't be here because this is y'all's time for you to grieve, and I'm over here putting it on camera for everyone to see. But I understand, why I do that. So that way it shows that people care. And when viewers see that people care, then maybe they can care about what's happening in a neighborhood that they don't live in. So
Exactly.
I understand the weight and the implications that happen afterwards, but man, if that doesn't have an impact on you. So I remember talking to to the young lady, to the girl. She should have graduated high school by now, but she told me that she said to her brother, one day we gonna make it out of Jacksonville. And I'm thinking, Jacksonville is such a big city. It is a big city. And for y'all to think that Jacksonville is like this small island that y'all need to escape out of for y'all to survive, you never know what people are going through.
They're trying to escape their reality. They're not trying to escape what the city is.
Yeah.
Like for you, the reality of what the city is different, but you're also coming from as an outsider.
Mm-hmm.
For them, the people that grew up in it, their reality is what Jacksonville is for them. It goes deeper into what we talk about when it comes to our culture, but also being Black as a whole, that the experiences that we have to deal with are still so fresh when you think of the overall dynamic of
Oh yeah.
a race and a people, especially within America, that we're so young within our ability to move in this space, that the fact that you're behind, we're behind, and the world's moving faster than certain parts of our culture are willing to move to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with this whole Young Thug thing, we're seeing that in real life, where he's really trying to perpetuate the whole street narrative of don't be a rat, don't do this, don't do that, while also being a complete hypocrite in the way that he went about it, because he is doing a lot of the things that in which, we would view as a rat. What was it, 6ix9ine? As much as you got to be in the wrong if 6ix9ine is the voice of reason in a situation. He was like, y'all out here moving the goalposts because, when I was going through my thing, everyone called me a snitch and a rat and all that.
And he owned up to it.
He said, y'all moving the goalposts. Y'all are so hood-brained that y'all don't even understand it. And a good example of that is Pee Wee Roscoe. He's the dude that, if you don't know, Young Thug and Lil Wayne had a beef, and someone shot up Lil Wayne's tour bus. The guy that went to jail for it was Pee Wee Roscoe. Okay. And essentially, Thug there's been mentions of him. You would think that Thug making mention of him doing it and people all just outing him, that he would be like, man, I'm not messing with anyone that mentioned my name. No, because he's so hood brained and street brainwashed that he thinks that what Young Thug did actually did him favors.
Real quick, because you brought up 6ix9ine. We talked about it off camera, but I'll say this. Tekashi 6ix9ine, he made a solid point, but I don't see him as much in the hip hop community because the hip hop community doesn't fuck with him. He's not a likable person. So, great message, good, solid message, wrong person.
Oh, very much so.
wrong
and
person.
It makes no sense.
Maybe if you would probably need like an OG or probably someone who,
which he had, because as much as people may not like him, Whack 100 is an OG.
I was thinking like Shine. You need an OG like him because he never snitched. He took the L and served prison time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he'll be I suggest him being a perfect example, at least a solid example of talking to or reaching out to the younger side of the hip hop community and be like, this is what No Snitching, got me at least 10 years in prison behind bars. Like, someone has to tell the truth.
But someone's got to. But someone's also got to eat. Got to wear that jacket.
So someone got to eat. Someone got to bite that bullet. No pun intended.
And someone got to wear it and deal with it. But
everybody want to go home when they get caught by the police. But
everybody starts singing. Everybody starts singing when they in front of the judge. You hard on your raps, but you're a well enunciated young man once you get in front of the judge. But yeah, let's see what Pee Wee got to say. Hold up, I just noticed this Band-Aid on this man's face.
Perfect Nelly.
Speaking
of Nelly, man, that dude is a dirtbag. But we can expand on that maybe towards the end of the show. I'm writing that down.
I was locked up, and Jeff was locked up. We went viral when they was like, "That's the type of friend you want." He was like, "Man, Roscoe ain't told y'all the damn thing." Yeah, that's to be there. That's the right thing. You feel what I'm saying? Like all those niggas, everybody is in the state room, in the interrogation room, and they gave statements. We're gonna throw the paperwork party tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. That man hoping that this man, Young Thug, throws him a lifeline, does something for him, give him some money, was he putting money on your books while you were in there?
We don't know.
It's this. Like you going anytime a man be like real talk, I'm be keep it all the way 100 with you, he finna lie. Like that. This man went on there, and Thug's way of just defending it was, basically I was lying to the feds and them so that way we can make it look like, why would he do that? We cool with them. And that's what he was talking about, what he sold Wayne weed. Even though they were beefing, he was trying to make it seem like, how could me and Wayne be beefing if I'm sharing him weed, if I'm selling him weed and all that? So why would Roscoe do that if we cool? Like, makes no sense. But then he's sitting there talking to the police for 2 hours. Anyone else, you gonna say, you mean you talking to the police for 2 hours? What you gotta say to them for 2 hours? So dumb-brained. He said a statement is if you look at a lineup and point somebody out. That's not what it used to be.
No,
a rap was talking, period. If you say anything, period.
Like, we're not against rap. We're against rappers. Those rappers. There's no room for street culture in the music industry. I've seen too many young, talented rappers get killed.
Y'all took Takeoff from us for no reason. I will never forgive the city of Houston for taking Takeoff from us.
I mean, there was this one point where we was just seeing rappers like getting off one by one. Pop Smoke, Takeoff.
Mm-hmm.
Who's another one?
Triple X.
Yeah, XXX Tentacion. There's another one. PNB Rock.
Yeah, sadly.
Who's another one? Draco the Ruler. He got stabbed. Man, there's the fact that I'm listing off these names, I find it problematic. Hell, Nipsey Hussle.
These rappers aren't making,
and he was doing good for the community.
And these rappers aren't making it to old age anymore. Like,
when it comes to inviting street culture into hip hop, it's almost as if you're taking on a huge gamble. And I'm saying this as an observer from the outside looking in. You're taking on a huge gamble because these are people that have expressed in their songs like the heartbreak and heartache, in their music and what they've gone through,
Mm-hmm.
and how they've made it out, and how there are people and situations still trying to drag them back in. You hear it in their music. This is another reason why I'm saying these are talented young rappers. But it's like a gamble.
It is.
It's truly a gamble because not only there are people who are wanting to take you out.
Mm-hmm.
You lose family members. You lose colleagues. Friends in the rap game. You lose them along the way. I hope I'm not painting a broad brush. This is only what I've seen. I think it's safe to say hip hop is supposed to be, storytelling. Not supposed to be. It's not supposed to. I don't think you're supposed to be meshing active crime into hip hop. If that makes sense, what I'm saying.
No, it does, because it's like, you can be from the culture, you can be from the area, but don't sit there in a rap talking about doing a drill and then doing it. Like, come on now. Like, I think Kendrick is a good balance of, I didn't live it, but I can tell the story of it.
Yes. I mean, Good Kid, Mad City. There were times he expressed how he was slightly involved in it, in a couple of burglaries or whatever. But it's when it comes to that route of hip hop, just similar to Night City, there is no happy ending when you choose that specific route that of hip hop.
Specific.
I'm talking about a very specific line to follow in that subgenre of hip hop, because not only does Gunna look like he's the winner in this situation, do you know who the real winner is in this entire situation?
Who?
The Fulton County DA, Fannie Willis. She's the real winner. YSL is no more in Atlanta. YSL does not exist anymore. It is a thing of the past. She won. She got it disbanded. At the end of the day, Fannie Willis does not play. She went after Trump. What makes you think she will not go after Young Thug? And I recall seeing posts on social media saying like, yo, Young Thug and his YSL stuff was like running rampant in Atlanta. I mean, we saw YFN Lucci. We saw how that came about.
One of my coworkers, her sister is a DA in Atlanta, and she was like, no, it's been a problem. Like, there's a reason why people that when they travel to Atlanta, they said, no, you really got to be careful sometimes out there, because it got bad it's gotten bad. And yes, they're working to get better. And by no means is this like a disclaimer to be like, nah, stay away from Atlanta. Like, no, that's any city you go to. That's anywhere you go to. You just got to be aware. But nah, I heard that he had his hands in a lot of pushing the negative of what you would feel as a part of the culture out there.
There's no loyalty in street culture and hip hop. I can give you another example here in Jacksonville, if that's cool with you, bro.
Yeah.
When I say that there's no loyalty in that subcategory of hip hop, the most recent story is Queso. I don't know if you heard of him, bro.
Yeah.
KSOO. That he is one of Young and Ace's shooters, and you can look back at his past music and you can see the times where he has talked about drilling and he has talked about certain people, dead or alive. Okay. And that's one thing that these young dudes they were doing. They
taunt the dead.
They will talk about you dead or alive. It does not matter. Anyway, he is going down in prison for the rest of his life. And one of the key factors of him staying in prison is his own daddy. His own daddy flipped on him.
I remember this one. Yeah, I remember
his own daddy flipped on him. So this happened in Jacksonville. A jury has found Jacksonville rapper Queso, real name Hakeem Robinson, guilty of the murder of Charles McCormick in 2020. Robinson was charged with first-degree murder, which is a mandatory life sentence in the state of Florida. The jury deliberated for 3.5 hours starting Thursday afternoon. In a statement following the verdict, State Attorney Melissa Nelson wrote, 5 years ago, Hakeem Robinson and Leroy Whitaker stalked a man and gunned him down in broad daylight because of disputes and drill rap. Today, a jury held them accountable for their brazen crimes, and this was an incredible effort by law enforcement and our team that takes 2 killers off our streets. Thank you to the jury for their time and dedication. Prosecutors said Robinson gunned down McCormick as he walked out of a temp agency on Merrill Road on January 15, 2020. The crime was motivated by the death of Robinson's stepbrother, Willie Addison, who was shot when coming out of a club exactly a year before McCormick's murder. While Robinson and his co-defendant are documented members of Jacksonville gang ATK, Addison was killed by a member of 6 Block, a rival gang. Prosecutors say McCormick was part of 6 Block also. They said McCormick wrote a diss track about Addison's death, making fun of the shooting that not only killed him, but badly injured Robinson's father, brother, and cousin. Prosecutors say this was Robinson's motivation in killing McCormick. The narrative described by the state is that Robinson, his co-defendant Leroy Whitaker, and accomplice Dominique Barner stalked McCormick together. While they said Robinson was caught on camera shooting McCormick, Whitaker was also accused of being in the car with a loaded gun ready to shoot. During the 6 days of testimony, law enforcement, DNA experts, and eyewitnesses testified in the trial, and the state brought dash cam and surveillance video of the shooting, as well as social media posts where they say Robinson was bragging about killing McCormick. And what did I say earlier? The police, they are watching. They are listening. They are observing.
Are always watching.
They are collecting evidence. You really think that RICO charge came out of nowhere if they didn't think they can? Here's another interesting thing about that damn RICO trial with Young Thug. While the RICO trial with Young Thug was happening, mind you, his lawyer who was representing him, Brian Steele, and I find it interesting how Brian Steele has this admiration in the hip hop community, or in some parts of the hip hop community, especially online. You'll see him dripped out in Spider merch and whatnot. He's a popular dude, and he's a well-known name in hip hop. But what I find Brian Steele so interesting is that he was also representing the former Brunswick District Attorney, Jackie Johnson. And if that name sounds familiar, Jackie Johnson, again, is the former Brunswick District Attorney in Georgia who was accused of violating her oath of office to protect the McMichaels and William Roddy. And those 3 people were involved in the murder of Ahmaud Arbery, who was running in Satilla Shores, a neighborhood in Brunswick. This is the second time I brought up Brunswick, but it's only an hour away from me here in Jacksonville. So it's a strange intersection that I'm seeing when it comes to the hip hop community, is that I see a portion of people who are praising him getting Young Thug out of, basically getting him out of prison. But at the same time, we're not acknowledging the part where he's involved in making sure that a family didn't get the justice that they wanted to see. I hope one day we can explore that intersection. It's bothered me for, I don't know how to describe that feeling, but it always bothered me when I saw people like just have like this admiration, or if there's a story involving, I think didn't Brian still represent Diddy as well?
He was one of them, yes. One of the attorneys.
So this man is now tangled in hip hop, but for its worst parts of it now. He's representing Diddy, he's representing Thug, Young Thug. But at the same time, he represented someone who a community believes prevented a family from getting justice. And we saw it in 2020. When George Floyd got killed, and then Breonna Taylor, she got killed, and it happened in threes, and then it was Ahmaud Arbery. And I remember seeing Ahmaud Arbery's story because I was working in Illinois, and then I moved to Florida, and then the whole dynamic of Ahmaud Arbery's story changed for me because it wasn't a national story then. It wasn't a national story when I was living in, when I moved to Jacksonville. It became a local story. I've talked to his mom, his dad. His dad still lives in Brunswick. His mom, Wanda Cooper Jones, I think I think she lives in Atlanta.
It's like how many of these local stories, excuse me, never make it out past being local?
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. I've covered too many shootings. I have been to so many crime scenes. So many. I've been to the aftermath of shootings where I found trails of blood where the person crawled or where the person got shot and they were leaking and whatnot. So I've seen it all. I've seen it all. And I don't
No
want to harp
cheesy.
on I don't want to harp on this subject too long because we've been in it. We've been on it for an hour or so, but it's such an interesting story. But I'll leave it like this: when it comes to Young Thug, this whole snitching mentality and whatnot, mind you, when a civilian calls the cops on you, that is not snitching. That is a concerned citizen. I'm talking about this portion of being in the streets and you're active in it. There are no good endings. There's no happy ending for anybody in this type of situation. Even if you think that you made it and you're in the clear, just think about that weight that you have to carry towards the end.
Like, bro, you beefing with someone who got out of jail, hit the ground running, and decided to make a change for their life. You over there looking dusty, fat. You hold him. If I'm being honest, I think he's holding back Mariah the Scientist's career.
Cheating on your girl while you at it too is crazy.
And holding back her career because now she has to do damage and PR and all that every time you go on there acting stupid instead of talking about her great album that she has out.
And she has a banger. She
like
has
you
a really
laying
good
her
album.
down. Like Joe Budden, of course he's being, funny when he says it, but it was like, nah, like all these old street dudes, all y'all look burnt out, crusty. You can tell you're not taking care of yourself and you've worried about all the wrong things and all y'all beefing with and calling a rat the person that got out that's doing numbers. Gunna has yet to really put out a flop. The biggest thing that to me Doug put out that was actually good was Business, and then his most recent, he's been putting out a lot of features, but everyone's waiting on the new album he haven't put out yet. His best feature so far was probably on Dumb and Dumber on there, but then even then he can't help snitching on himself. Like, even when I was locked up, I was having my way and all that, and it's like, bruh, shut up, we're talking about it. But you're beefing with a dude that's changing his lifestyle, changing the lives of others, and it's just not a good look. It makes no sense. Like, at some point, you should be OG enough to rap about what you used to do and how you moved on.
I'll end it with this quote right here, bro. It's by Kendrick Lamar. A real gangster is dead or in jail or behind the scenes getting real money. Message.
We can flip that into more rappers that are doing damage to their image.
Yeah.
I won't say rapper. I will say artists that are doing damage.
I'll say let's say rappers, because this is hip hop. This is hip hop by the end of the day. How do I say this? The red pill, if you haven't noticed, is infiltrating hip hop, and to some degree, people can argue, well, it's always been there, but now it's kind of metastasizing. It's growing. It's becoming cancerous. And what do I mean by this? You have rappers, even in the old guard, who are bending the knee to MAGA. You have rappers who are in proximity with the manosphere. And you have rappers who are committed to it. They're like all in. So these are some examples of people in the hip hop community who I feel like could be in the way of the progress that we would like to see, especially in our beloved genre. Here's a few. Nelly, Ice Cube, NBA Youngboy, and I'll even mention this, Drake.
Mm-hmm.
And why am I bringing? Oh, hell, Lil Wayne.
That's a good point.
These are some of these people I mentioned. They are considered the old guards and current guards of hip hop.
And look what they're
Snoop
doing
Dogg.
for it.
Snoop flipped. So, DDG. You,
I can't stand that.
Drake is not doing interviews with journalists. You don't see him with Rob Markman. He's actually like poking fun at him, saying free Tory.
Mm-hmm. And we are not a Tory supporting channel.
This is not a Tory channel. This is not pro Tory. Sorry to what happened to that man, but you know, this is not a pro Tory channel. So Drake is doing live, streams with XQC and Aiden Ross.
We can go into them too, but then you have people like Dave. You can see how it's infected the younger generation and how they've made this a point of like trolling, but also a point to stand on. Like, let me share right here. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you're aware of the gentleman Dave Blunts.
I can't put the cup down. Is that guy?
Yep. And this gentleman decided to have some things to say about Kendrick Lamar.
All right, let's see it.
All this shit's rigged, which is really why I don't give a fuck about it too much. Like,
you're not bumping that GNX? What?
No, nigga. Like, what the fuck?
Bro, that's that pro-black music. What you mean you're not bumping that shit?
What does that shit even stand for? Gay niggas? Like, what the fuck does GNX stand for?
If I didn't know
Grand
better,
National.
It sounds like two racist white guys arguing on Call of Duty.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Not nothing against him or anything.
I hear no lies.
Like,
that's that.
Do you really think niggas around my age, 25, is listening to Kendrick Lamar, bro?
All right, let me hold on. Finish the lyric. We gonna beat
the pussy up.
No.
Now, obviously, there's some trolling that's going on here, but now we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of really what this video is going to be about. Speaking about the influence of Kendrick Lamar, and it's ironic because I was working on a video before this moment happened, but continue.
We gonna beat.
I don't know the lyric, man.
All right, this is how you get to learn the lyric. Okay, take both of your hands, put them up, and then do a cross like you're in the Black Panther movie. And all of a sudden,
we gonna be all right.
There you go. I knew it.
Okay,
I fucking knew it.
I mean, yeah, I know the song, nigga. Like, I've heard that song before, but you see how I didn't know what the fuck you was talking about? That shit don't come to mind, nigga. I'm 25, nigga. I'm listening to Lil Durk. I'm listening to fucking like sliding and drilling music, nigga. We is not listening to no fucking Kendrick Lamar, none of that shit. We're not listening to Black Power and Black Empowerment. We're listening to straight niggas killing shit and fucking degenerate music. Fuck all that positive black people shit.
So there's a pocket of people who are aware and they know what they are absorbing. They already know. And they're calling it that positive black people shit.
We not trying to listen to that, man. We trying to hear how we about to slide on the ops, bro.
There is room. There's a lot of room. Like, there's a lot of room in hip hop, but to narrow it down to positive black people music is a disservice, and it's backhanded.
They're basically saying that young people don't listen to conscious rap, which to a certain extent has always been kind of like the standard where as you get older, you become more aware of lyrical rap and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Or, some people prefer it. Like, I'm fully aware of lyrical and conscious rap, but there are certain days where it's like, I just want something that I can just turn my brain off to and listen. So, and that's the beauty of hip hop. You have literally music for all situations, feelings, emotions, and things of that nature. But what he's doing is trying to, I think, purposefully be very obtuse, be very antagonistic in what he's saying. But outside of that, there are young people that are going to feel that exact same way. There's going to be people our age and older that feel that exact same way. And I think that it goes back to what we were saying with Young Thug. We're growing. I think the culture is growing past that. And there's a lot of people that want to keep that idea. I liken it to the sports conversation where, because things have moved towards a more of an analytical type of thing, there's a lot of people that don't like it because it basically takes them out of the conversation, because they prefer to have the barbershop conversations. They don't want to have to look into the nuances, do root cause analysis, get into the deep stuff. They want to keep everything surface level because it's easier to engage with surface level material than it is to go into the deeper parts of it. Which, granted, I get it. Most people want to just live their life to a surface level, certain degree. You know, most people got to work. Most people have to deal with family, deal with kids. You know, life is difficult. So it's not like I'm coming from a point of like, no, we all got to be conscious. It's just knowing what he is saying. And also being able to understand, like, that person saying that obviously is doing this for clicks. But there are going to be people that utilize that as a, yeah, you see this? He's a name in hip hop that's recognizable. And we all agree with this, and that's how it should be.
I think that type of content is just as damaging. So you know how we were talking about I know it's going to sound like apples to oranges, but walk with me. A couple of episodes ago, we talked about how throwing those green sex toys at a WNBA game, it doesn't do physical harm, but it does have a social negative impact to them, where it walks over what they're trying to accomplish, which at the time right now is having a better contract. They're under CBAs right now. So we look at the bigger picture of how a small incident like that has a large impact to a minority group that's trying to thrive in a male dominated sport. Okay. So that's the example I'm trying to make right here, right now. It's going to sound, this is why it sounds like apples to oranges. Relying on DJ Academics, a conversation between him and Dave Blunt's, and you hear Dave Blunt's hit, you know, I'm pretty sure he's like in his mid-20s, you know, saying stuff like, you know, treating hip hop like that has more of a social damage to what we want, you know, for our culture and for our genre that we built. And I feel like at that moment we need the old guards to, you know, keep hip hop intact, keep it in, or keep some folks in check. Your source or your entertainment to hip hop should not immediately go to DJ Academics. One, he's already problematic as is, you know, with PDF accusations. So why would you take your hip hop knowledge and your facts and your news from him?
Who got his start in hip hop journalism by promoting the whole Chirac narrative and things of that nature.
Wouldn't even call it journalism. It's not journalism to me, bro. It's more like voyeurism. And this is what I mean. This is what I mean when I say voyeurism. Because there are people who have come here to Jacksonville, who have come to the most impacted areas of Jacksonville. It could be a white boy in his camera, and he'll pull up to certain neighborhoods to talk about the experience here as if it is a jungle exhibit.
Yes.
So, and then not only that, you are taking all your clicks and all your views, and you are the one making the profit off of it. Because that's what DJ Academics did when it came to covering all the news, what was happening in Chicago and King Von. And that's one of the reasons why Vic Mensa told him on Everyday Struggle, I should slap the shit out of you. Because you don't know any of these people, you know, in these communities, yet you are getting all the attention. You are getting
Vince Staples.
Vince Staples. I said Vic Mensa, didn't I?
Yeah.
No. Not Vince Staples. Vic Mensa. because Vic Mensa's from
I'm thinking about a
Chicago.
different one, yeah.
Vic,
Yeah, you're
Vince
right.
Staples is he's West
Cali.
Coast. Yeah, he's Cali. So, so this has more of a social damage to it.
And you know he's just doing it for clicks. Like, obviously he's aware, as being someone in the hip hop community and space, he's obviously aware of what Kendrick Lamar talks about, the songs and all that. But it's more so indicative of the right now. I feel like a lot of why it's hard for the OGs to police it. It's because they know that these people are doing it for clout and clicks, and yeah, it's making money right now. It's hard. Clout is a drug.
Yeah, I mean, look at Young Boy, where he's make America slime again.
Which I'm
gonna sound like a conspiracy theorist if I bring up if I bring up NBA Young Boy. So his latest album, Make America Slime Again. What does that initials say, bro? Massa.
Conspiracy theories. Yeah, I think the main issue is, especially if we want to keep it to like these rappers and this street stuff, it's always been public perception that, you know, I got to be hard, I got to be the loyal one, I got to be the real one, because everyone swore up and down Thug was like the bastion of street loyalty and all that. Like, if you thinking about loyal holding it down, hey, Thug was a real one. He didn't say nothing. But now he on his he's out there tweeting about how he made an honest mistake. But you out here trying to sully the next man based upon, oh, I don't like him, man. Nah, we gotta make sure we label him a rat so he can't come back out here like that. And it's like, bruh, like, granted, we know in Atlanta, Young Thug's still gonna do numbers. Like, we know Atlanta supports their people, but outside of Atlanta, I think he's taken a major hit to his image.
I think Young Thug is so far up there. The impact is going to be, how do I say this? He's still going to have all of his listeners, but is he going to have all of us when I say that?
I would say if
he'll have his listeners, but will he have all of us?
I'll say he will have them, but also his issue is that he's so intertwined with Atlanta and the Atlanta music scene. Atlanta music scene has a lot of, if you put a Venn diagram of all the different artists from Atlanta, you're going to have a lot of crossover as to who all listens to all those different type of artists. Like, if you listen to Lil Baby, you probably listen to Young Thug. If you listen to Young Thug, you probably listen to Gunna. If you listen to Gunna, you probably listen to Lil Baby. Like, it's a big circle of all of them that he may not win the battle of those that's like, oh, well, I still rock with Baby, I still rock with Gunna, but I don't know how much I still rock with Thug. I think this will create some division that causes him to lose more than he's able to maintain.
The more I look at the story of Young Thug, it just reminds me of a point that I've said twice so far in this episode, is that there are no winners when you play this game. There's no happy ending in Night City.
There's no happy endings at all for any of this. Like,
but
the reason,
actually, yeah. I'm sorry, one more time, but like, I was just reiterating the point. The real winner is Fannie Willis. That's the only winner in this situation. She's the only winner right here.
Honestly, Gunna is one of the biggest ones too, because he literally has been doing nothing but getting his health right and living different, and he hasn't had to speak on the case at all. Thug's got so much to say. He talking to all these other people, and it's like, bruh, obviously you the one spiraling, not anyone else. And I think that's what a lot of it is. When we crossed it over to Drake, a lot of it deals with their own insecurities that they're dealing with within themselves. I definitely feel that about Drake. I think he's never, because he's been so applauded since his time being in rap, he's never had to deal with when people are against you, because in all of his previous beefs, it typically was warranted that he won because it was usually unnecessary. The provocations and all that didn't, from the public's view, they were like, why are you trying to beef with this man? He don't bother nobody. But now when he chose to engage in what was supposed to be just competition, the fact that he was perceived as losing, I don't think he knows how to deal with that.
His story is interesting. How do I say this? Because I like listening to Kendrick. I like listening to J. Cole. I like listening to Drake. I listen to all three. I never pick the side. And so, and that I feel like when I do that, that leaves me room to be critical of each artist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that leaves me room to have critique for, J. Cole and still give him praise at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to Drake, how do I paint this? Because his is very interesting, and so far we're like almost an hour and a half in.
We're gonna have content for days.
He is still on it, not necessarily on other rappers, because as of now he is telling the story, or he's framing his story of, I didn't know that, I didn't know folks didn't like me like that, especially the ones in my inner circle. So he's addressing them first before, I'm assuming, he addresses the bigger elephant in the room. That's why he's been talking about LeBron James and, and like in that one song, What Did I Miss?
I can agree. I just feel that he's gone about it so terribly because I'll send you the video because there was this one young man that was in his circle quite a few years back. And I think the reason why we're seeing this version of Drake is because and he alludes to it very well. We think he's talking about the people we are aware about, like the other celebrity friends and stuff like that. But for all we know, he really could be mad about all the people behind the scenes, like the people that make things happen, like them turning on him to a certain extent, that's where a lot of his issues might be more landing, because there are a few times where he's mentioning things and it's like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, his critique is he's always saying names that nobody knows.
Yeah, so it's like you're mad at these people, and a lot of times, what the young man, I guess I never said what he said. He was like, yeah, the reason why he's moving like this and he doesn't have the ability to really gather like he used to is those people that used to do those rollouts for him that would address certain things. And also when it came to his responses, that's why it didn't sound the way that it did with like a back-to-back and stuff like that. It's like all those people left his corner, and he's viewing it as like, oh, y'all turning back on me. It's like, maybe the payola's not there anymore. Maybe you did something that we don't know. There's so much that we don't know. So the whole thing of being cryptic, I've never understood. It's like, why don't you just get out there and put it on Front Street? Because I guess my biggest thing also would be his fans. Because right now, and even the Kendrick fans annoy me sometimes, but his fans right now just kill me with the whole, this saved Kendrick's career and da-da-da. It's like, the person that's considered in the big three needed a beef to save their career. A person that literally, it's about to storm, literally has songs that's been on the Billboard Hot 100 for over a decade, needs his career saved. Like, let's not be disingenuous. And it goes back to the whole proving Kendrick's point that they not like us, that he has a huge part of his fan base that is so far removed from what the actual culture is. I had an argument with my coworkers about this when I was trying to get them to understand that, like, there's certain aspects of what happened within the beef, it's in the battle itself, that just don't sit right. And then they were like, no, it's right. It's right. It's like, well, yeah, you don't understand that the actual what happened in all this, and then their justifications are just completely different. I think that's my only thing as well, is that he has such a diverse fan base, which is good. It is good. But whenever it comes to talking on hip hop and the culture itself, that's where I think and we're seeing it right now with who he chooses to interact with and who he chooses to do interviews and streams with. He has more comfortability with that skin color than this skin color.
I won't narrow it down to race.
I wouldn't say that. I would say it's bearing it out
to race. I won't narrow it down to race because I look at him as that he's acting as if he's a contrarian. You know, he's going against the grain. And he is aligning. I think that one content creator on Complex said it. He's aligning himself with people who are getting him the clicks and the views, because that's what gets the money. That's what gets the attention. I mean, that's why he mentions people like Kai Cenat in one of his songs.
And also with this lawsuit, I don't see XQC in there. I don't see Aiden Ross and them in there. I don't see the white creators that reviewed him negatively in there. You see Screwface Jean in there. Like, why?
I'm trying to look at it from his point of view. So here we go. I'm Drake. I'm one of the biggest artists in hip hop right now. I helped you get, as a listener, I helped you get Kendrick Lamar. I put Kendrick Lamar on the map.
No, you didn't.
I put A$AP Rocky on the map.
No, you didn't. Y'all gotta stop saying that. This is where we're going to divide. Y'all gotta stop saying that. He rode waves. Yes, it does help that he was there, but no. To sit there and say he put them on, that nigga did not put on all these people. He may have put on the Migos, but the Migos were already coming up in Atlanta. Like, people were already pushing them out. When it came to Black Boy JB, he was already hot in his area and in the college scene. That's the only reason why Drake heard about. He did not put on all these people to the extent that it's like, bro, without you, we never hear about you. No, I refuse to give him that. There's certain artists, maybe the world doesn't hear I Love McConan because of without Drake. But The Weeknd is still going to end up being The Weeknd without Drake.
I say this to say, because I'm saying this as if I'm from his perspective.
Okay, I grant you that.
I put you on. I put you as a listener. I put you on Kendrick. I put you on A$AP. I'm putting you on these folk, and I'm like 3 albums in. Kendrick is 1. So if he's being serious about mentioning me in these songs, he needs to, like, I need to see like that he's really serious. You see where that's kind of coming from? He was already the hottest rapper.
You're talking about when Control came out?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Some of this stuff dates back to Control.
No, it dates back to 2011. But I would say by that time was what Good Kid, Mad City came out already. But Good Kid, Mad City was.
What album was out when Good Kid? What Drake album was out when Good Kid, Mad City was out?
Let's see. What, Take Care?
Probably Nothing Was the Same.
Control came out in 2014.
Okay, so I'm 3 albums in. This guy only comes up with Good Kid, Mad City. He comes out of not out of nowhere, but he's coming up with Good Kid, Mad City. He's already at where he believes he's at.
Section
he's at
80
his height.
and 2012. He has Section 80 and
just Good Kid, Mad City. Just Good Kid, Mad City.
What? Section 80 was a banger.
I'm not denying that. Not denying it. But people look at Kendrick Lamar in a mainstream perspective. They look at Good Kid, Mad City as the official freshman album. Not talking about Section 80. I'm not talking about Overly Dedicated. Not talking about those. Because, low key, those are mixtapes, in my opinion.
I'll give you that.
So Drake is 3 albums in. You don't think this man doesn't have a chip on his shoulder? and then Good Kid, Mad City comes out, and then next thing you know, Control, like you hear Control, and Drake is like, I don't know, should I take you serious? Because we can look back at the past interviews.
But then I would say that's indicative of how he's never really understood the culture, and how his idea of the culture has always been from a spectator's point of view, as opposed to a real person that gets in there into the minutia of it. Because literally, the your rapper's favorite rappers all viewed it as competition, except for the light skin Canadian.
When we say the culture, and I find it interesting when we say the culture, and I'm saying this from the outside looking in. I'm not supporting or I'm like in the middle of all this in this situation. But when people say the culture and they exclude Drake out of it, it diminishes the contributions that he has that he has made to the genre.
I guess, can you detail what do you mean when they say exclude him? Because I don't think he's excluded from the culture. I think that he has contributed to it. I think you can be a contributor to something without having a true grasp of what you're contributing to.
We can look up past interviews and we can see how Drake is a student to the game, and he has an appreciation for people who have pushed hip hop further, who have pushed hip hop into spaces that has reached him. There's no denying that. He is definitely a student to the game. He has shown appreciation to Joe Budden before they started, bumping heads. He has shown appreciation to producers like Ninth Wonder, who is a classic man in the hip hop industry. He has roots, but they're just not in the U.S.
I would say it's not that we don't view him as such. Is it safe to say that he can have all that, but still have had his instances and slip-ups that has you questioning his real true grasp of it? Like, I know a lot of people that know the history of sports, but they don't have a true understanding of it. Like, they can regurgitate all the stats, all the memorable moments and all that. But then if I ask them to break down what does it mean to come off the block on a pin down and then try to feed the cut man, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, yeah, you appreciate the game. You can list off all these players and stats and stuff. But if you don't really understand the game, yes, I'm glad you can contribute to the overall conversation, but when it comes to furthering it, I don't view you in the same ilk.
How has he not furthered the genre?
How has he?
He has contributed to having hip hop become one of the most popular genres in the world.
I believe he's contributed, but by no means do I think that the machine that is music and that is hip hop wouldn't have survived without Drake. Like, if Drake never existed, I don't think that hip hop and rap doesn't still get as far. I think that the machine,
you wouldn't have your Bryson Tillers. You wouldn't have your Blacks.
I still think the machine would have still found someone, and we just would have had a different version of them.
Oh,
like, at the end of the day, we still would have had Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne would have still been able to pick up some mini clones of him. That
talking point sounds similar to when folks said if Tupac was still alive, then Lil Wayne wouldn't be as popular or wouldn't.
Who the hell says that?
People have said that,
but there's no correlation. They're not even in the same umbrella of hip hop.
It's been said.
I mean, shit, I can say that I want to fly, but it doesn't mean it has any merit.
I'm not all for just taking away what Drake has contributed to hip hop.
I'm not taking it away. I'm just saying that to the extent that we're saying that he furthered hip hop, I'm just saying that the machine that is music and the machine that is hip hop, they would have found another version of Drake if it wasn't Drake.
Like who?
We don't know because Drake exists. but by no means am I going to sit here and think that hip hop and everything that is behind it, because as much as we view it as an art, it's still a business. It is still entertainment. Like at the end of the day, that's a bad comparison. But by no means am I sitting here thinking that one player is different, because rap and sports are completely different. I can't tell the story of basketball without a LeBron James, without a Michael Jordan, without a Kobe Bryant and things of that nature. But if that person was never born, I would be remiss to believe that there wouldn't have been someone else that ends up filling that segment, that space.
I think to say that he hasn't pushed the genre or hasn't done anything to have contributed to the genre, it's almost as if people are quick to make him a hip hop pariah.
No, I think he's definitely contributed, but he's not a pariah. He kind of is a pariah, if we're being honest. Because
is he making himself a pariah? I think it's safe to say he's making himself a pariah, but at the same time, the folks, consumers are treating him like he's a pariah.
But also, I feel like that's due to the space that he decided to take up. Because you know that whole thing of when you find like an artist like the Tommy Richmonds of the world that, you know, you would associate $1 Million Baby with being hip hop, right? But when he was asked about it, he's like, no, you're not going to typecast me into hip hop. And it's like that whole thing of, you know, with Post Malone, where they're like, he doesn't really seem like much of a rapper anymore, or were you just using rap as a springboard? I don't want to fully accuse Drake of that, but he does give me remnants of that, to where he wanted to get into that point to where he was viewed beyond just being a hip hop artist. And I think now that he's leaned so much into that, it's hard for him to reel himself back in.
He's only genre blended twice.
Okay. But do you not feel that he views himself as being bigger than hip hop? And I say this as, who is it? Not the light skinned one on the JBP, but the other one that we all think is a Trump supporter, but Mark Lamont Hill won't tell us who actually voted for Trump on there. Even he was like, you know, Drake's bigger than hip hop. And this is a sentiment you hear constantly, where, you know,
Drake
Drake's
is not bigger than hip hop. No.
But
he's a big celebrity. He has huge celebrity.
I would say his celebrity. Do you feel that his celebrity is bigger than just being typecasted into hip hop?
No. The man literally, he, along with Beyonce, I'm not gonna say put house music on the map, but
I'm not putting him in there.
He along with Beyonce reintroduced house music to a lot of consumers.
Wait. How did he do that?
Honestly, never mind. That was a house music album. Beyonce Renaissance, that was a house music album.
I swear if it's that one with that ugly ass album cover. No, it did not.
It's house.
Which songs? Like what? A Keeper, Calling My Name, Text Go Green, Sticky, Currents. This is one of his most forgettable albums.
It's, in my opinion, it's actually really good.
You have to also remember, you are a historian. You are a music savant.
Nowhere near music savant. Nowhere near. I appreciate the compliment.
Compared to your average consumer, not many people have the music knowledge that you do.
I mean, I know a little bit. Here, how do I say it? I know a little bit for me to show others that I'm an expert, but I know enough to show people who are in, who are in that space, that I'm being respectful.
I will give you.
Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yes, it does. I will grant you that. Yes, I don't disagree with the idea that it's a house album. I agree more with the Beyonce side of it, just because for appeal. But by no means do I think that. Excuse me. Which I think Drake and Lil Wayne kind of messed up when they kind of expanded their fan base to more people. And
they mainstreamed it.
Yeah. The mainstreamification, I think, did them more of a disservice when it comes to reappealing to us.
So it sounds like some folks just have an issue with Drake just mainstreaming the genre, and they would prefer it be someone else rather than him.
I wouldn't say if it's. I would kind of agree with what you're saying.
I guarantee you probably have 2 or 3 rappers already in mind that you will rather see mainstreamed on the same echelon and as
I
Drake
had no
is.
actually, I have no issues with Eminem. I have absolutely 0 issues with Eminem.
You want Eminem to have Drake attention?
No, he's bigger than Drake. Fuck that. Like what? No, we're not going to do that.
You want
He is way
Eminem
bigger
to
than
have Drake celebrity. You want Eminem.
No, I think he has it. He just he I think his demeanor and character more aligns with what traditional hip hop would be, because he's not out there trying to do all the extra, but that's just his own personality. But if he wanted to, he could easily be doing what Drake wanted. Well, what Drake's doing, being in all the movies. Like, he is one of the most in demand. Like, if you look at what it costs to book him to just make an appearance, I think that's something that Drake needs to study. Like, he needs to make himself more scarce, because I think the fact that he made himself so available and things of that nature, and I think that's his own issue. That's a different insecurity thing where he's now chronically online all the time. I think that did him in, but also I don't think he's ever surrounded himself with the right people to carry him into that echelon that he's come into now. Because the whole thing of, one of the reasons why I think the lawsuit is stupid that Drake has out there, because they all try to blame it on that whole pedophile line. It's like, a lot of I think Kendrick more so alluded that to the people around you, because I don't think Drake's always surrounded himself with the best people.
What's interesting is that Drake already brought it up prior to the beef. I mean, prior to this whole, Euphoria, Not Like Us, before all that started. He brought it up when Drake did the AI voice of Tupac.
That was that I would say at certain points in the battle, it showed me that Drake really didn't understand the culture, I will say. Because a line of, the second he uttered the line, Kendrick's rapping like he's trying to free the slaves, I was like, nigga, you lost.
Okay, we can dip into that type of nuance, and that's fair. Because he's raised in Canada, so for him to not have the true understanding of being a Black American, we can talk. We can say that is a fair critique.
All right, I guess that
him.
may be a better descriptor of where I'm coming from and where we can meet in the middle.
He doesn't have a true understanding of being a Black American.
I would say that would be it. If I had to agree with your line of saying, like, hey, if you wanted someone to push hip hop further, I would want that representative to be a Black American, for the simple fact that the origination started with that demographic.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So,
and they would have a deeper...
so you're xenophobic now. I'm playing it.
No, I am.
I'm playing.
Fuck them. Fuck them maple niggas.
So
that's why y'all lost in the Olympics. Team USA, SGA who? Which is another bitch-made topic. That man went and got LeBron James removed and covered it with another nigga. What if SGA starts listening to Kendrick Lamar? What you gonna do next?
The man is loyal to Canada. He's loyal to North America.
He ain't loyal to Lil Wayne.
They still get along.
Fucked on Wayne girl while he was in jail. That's conniving. Wayne got his face tatted like a bitch apologizing. Wayne's downfall does need to be studied. I'm so saddened by that.
As you should.
I'm so saddened by that.
Because he has proximity to MAGA. NBA YoungBoy has proximity to MAGA.
Have we
Both
not
of them
talked
were
about how
pardoned by
Snoop has been, like, Snoop Dogg has just... He has built up so much social equity that all these missteps that he's had, people just don't care.
I care. He bent the knee.
Yeah, he did.
Nelly,
Same thing with
he bent the knee.
Oh, who else?
Real quick, because we're already at we're almost at 2 hours, and I did bring up why I wanted to talk about why Nelly's a dirtbag, even though
please.
Because
I love how passionate you get about Nelly in the first. It was the first episode, right?
Yeah. It was all right. So I said he wasn't a good person because of how he treated his significant other, but now I dived into another story about Nelly where I genuinely didn't even know about it, and it just made me say, "Damn, this guy is kind of a dirtbag."
Bro, we gotta get a breaking news drop.
I could probably find something. Remember the impact of tip drill? If we see tip drill right now, we would consider that an average, hip hop music video nowadays. But back then, that was a crazy thing to do.
Whoa! I'm sorry.
What's up?
For those that haven't seen it, I don't want to interrupt you, brother, but are we talking about the BET Uncut version 1, or are we talking about BET Uncut version 2 of Tip Drill? BET Uncut version 1 is more akin to what we see nowadays.
Yes.
BET Uncut version 2 was basically porn.
No, I'm talking about 1.
Okay.
1 is one nowadays, like Tip Drill nowadays is considered normal.
Tip Drill nowadays, you'll see that on Twitter when you log in.
Yeah, but Tip Drill, when it first came out, is a different story. It had people riled up, and a lot of women did not like that music video. So Nelly had a sister. Yeah, she needed a bone marrow transplant, and so Nelly wanted to do a bone marrow drive at Spelman University with, and the student body president at the time at Spelman said, "We want a serious conversation with Nelly because it's so strange that you want to have access to our bodies, but at the same time, you are displaying us as these sexual, beings and whatnot. And we don't appreciate that. So we want that nuanced conversation if you want to do this bone marrow drive here." And the event was ultimately canceled. And Nelly, when it was brought up years later, he said the only thing he wished he could have done different was punch somebody in the face.
Yes.
Unfortunately, his sister died. And so he felt as if that moment was like robbed from him. Like, oh, y'all could have helped my sister, but y'all didn't. But at the same time, I could understand why the women at Spelman University said, we need to have like this serious, nuanced conversation with you about how you are displaying us, but at the same time, you want access to us. And the way he worded it at first, it was, well, it's always about their choice. These women chose to do what they did. And so I understand that framing. But he didn't leave room to have that serious conversation. And so that always just bothered me on how he treated women, or how he went about wanting to do things with women. And so now you're seeing how he is behaving with Ashanti and whatnot, how he doesn't want to be involved with the child until the child is prepared to like say what he wants to him. knowing good and how he doesn't want to leave St. Louis, but all of his children are grown, but Ashanti would like to have some help, and that help is back home in New York for her. Like, this is why I'm saying he's pretty much a dirtbag. So if you didn't know that about Nelly, now you know.
Oh no, I agree. And I was reading into the story just to see, like, so it says that the bone marrow drive, which was being sponsored by Nelly's Fest, was immediately canceled after the foundation was told the administration could not guarantee a protest-free arrival. Okay, so he was trying to host the bone marrow drive there. Sir,
this is after you put out Tip Drill.
There's so many different ways he could have gone about that. Like, there's so many. The fact that he decided, it shows that you weren't genuine outside of, even if you didn't want to do that, even if you didn't want to recuse yourself, you still had other ways to go about it. So to then place the blame on them in a way when you're asked about it, when it shows that you obviously, even if you were to have apologized, it may not have been genuine. Because just the way, for me, the way that he's even going about it, yeah, Spelman, all-woman campus. They're looking to find bone marrow donors.
For your sister,
Sir,
mind you.
You have a big platform. You could just easily put out like a promo in each city, especially if you were smart enough to hire someone to do research to see, like, hey, most bone marrow matches are found in these states, these cities, and stuff like that. So let me put a promotional campaign out there. Like, if you're a woman and you come to see if you're a match for this bone marrow thing, you get a free picture with Nelly. You get a free this, and that. You have so many ways to go about it, but you chose to cast aspersions on these people for trying to hold you accountable for the damage that you're doing to Black women. Like, it's not that. And I say this as someone that consumes the product, but by no means am I so jaded, like, oh yeah, I know that this is not positive towards our people, but I also know that this is a part of the music that we listen to, but by no means would I put it as a representation of who we are.
That portion of hip hop should be absorbed in moderation.
That should be absorbed in privacy.
Or within your friend group, you know?
Or even in your family dynamic. I know families that are very open and kind of close to exhibitionists when it comes to their expression. So it depends, but I think that should be more so private as opposed to, I don't believe that we culturally are at a point to where we could have some of the things out there just free for the public to interpret without us cultivating it in a way that it can't do damage to us if we just leave it out there unattended.
So if you see like another subgenre of hip hop that is forming and is getting white attention.
That is, we may have to save that for another pod.
I mean, is that not drill at the end of the day?
Like, how much of, because our culture is so young, raw, and fresh, so much of it getting exposed without us really putting time in to cultivate it the correct way, it becomes a representation of us, and it always ends up being the sticking point for, see, they don't know no better. They don't know how to get better. See, they don't want better. This is all they talk about.
Yeah, they're violent. They're sexual deviants and whatnot. They're plotting and scheming. Yeah, I can already hear the narrative on Fox News. Absolutely.
Hi, Mr. O'Reilly. You mad?
I like this direction. Let's put a pin on this conversation. Let's go ahead and wrap things up over here. This is a very interesting episode of Porch Light Theory, episode 9. Before you do anything else, share, subscribe, and review our show. When you do that, people like you find this podcast, and we enjoy, seeing all these people tune in and just listen to us. Make sure you follow us on our TikTok and our Instagram, Porch Light Theory. Send us an email if you have any questions. If there's something that you want us to talk about, you got something on your mind, send us an email at porchlighttheory@gmail.com. That's porchlighttheory@gmail.com. And last but not least, before we do anything else, I want to give a shout out to the ladies of the Yap Me Baby podcast. I feel as if you like Porch Light Theory, then you would definitely like the Yap Me Baby team. They are two ladies here in Jacksonville, Florida, and they have nuanced conversations. Give them a chance, give them a listen. If we like them, then for sure, I think you'll like them as well. So this concludes Porch Light Theory, episode 9. Episode 10 is on the way. Peace out.
You have a good one.